Imagine a country where 70% of people legally do not pay taxes, where business owners do not pay taxes on dividends if their company has already paid taxes, and where landlords do not pay taxes on income from renting out their apartments. This is not an offshore haven. This is Chile, the most stable economy in Latin America. But there are nuances. If you don't know the local laws, you could end up overpaying thousands of dollars. Today, I will explain how Chile's tax system works for individuals and legal entities, how to optimize your payments, and why entrepreneurs from all over the world are moving here. Chile is a tax haven for the middle class. Here's how ordinary people pay taxes here. There is a progressive scale that measures the annual income of individuals. You can find a link to this scale on the tax services website in the description of this video. If your annual income is up to 11,112,000 pesos, which is approximately $11,500 a year, or about $1,000 per month, the rate is zero. You don't pay any taxes at all. If your monthly income is 2.5 million pesos, which is about 2,600 US dollars, amounting to 30 million pesos per year, 31,200 US dollars, your annual tax will be 966,612 pesos, which is 1,000 US dollars, or 3.2% of your total income. You have to admit that's pretty good. With a monthly income of 5 million pesos, which is approximately 5,200 US dollars per month, that's 60 million pesos a year, or about $62,500 a year. The annual tax will be 4,625,604 pesos, $4,818, which amounts to 7.7% of your total income. You have to agree that such taxes are, of course, extremely comfortable compared to taxes in Russia, and even more so compared to European countries or the United States. Write in the comments what the tax rate is in your country. The majority of personal income tax revenue in Chile's budget comes from people who earn more than 250 million pesos a year, or more than 260,000 US dollars. In this case, the tax rate is about 27%. What additional tax benefits exist for individuals? According to the tax code and the income tax law, profits from the resale of real estate that has been owned for more than 1 year are not subject to taxation. For example, you bought a property for $200,000. A year later, you sold it for $250,000, and you officially do not pay any taxes on the profit you made. In addition, if you are a landlord, own 1 or 2 apartments of up to 140 square meters each, and rent them out, you can officially receive rental income from these apartments, and you also do not have to pay any taxes on this income. Agree? This is a fantastic opportunity for those who want to invest in real estate. Well, friends, we've covered individuals, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now let's look at how companies in Chile pay taxes. But things get even more interesting there. In Chile, for certain types of activities, you can register as self-employed and pay on average 14% tax on your turnover. Out of this amount, 7% is essentially paid to yourself, because this 7% go towards your health insurance. You can choose an insurance company from the ESAPER system and receive services in private clinics with discounts of up to 80%. If we're talking about starting a company, the most popular form of business organization in Chile is the SPA, which is essentially a limited liability company. An SPA company pays 25% on the difference between the organization's income and expenses. At the same time, the tax paid by the company serves as a credit towards the founder's personal income tax. Let's break this down with a specific example. The company made a profit of 10 million pesos. The company's expenses amounted to 9 million. Thus, the company must pay 25% tax on the 1 million pesos profit. At the same time, if the company decides to distribute this profit among its founders, the founders will not have to pay taxes on the dividends, because the company has already paid corporate income tax on this amount. In other words, there is no double taxation in Chile, unlike, for example, in Russia, where you first pay corporate income tax, and then when distributing dividends, you also pay 13% personal income tax. In this regard, Chile is certainly very attractive to entrepreneurs. Also, for certain types of activities in Chile, there is VAT, the value-added tax, which is set at 19%. The system for calculating input and output VAT is fully automated. There is no need to collect paper invoices. Every time you or another organization issues an invoice to a client, the tax system automatically gathers all the data, and at the end of the month, the entrepreneur pays the difference between input and output VAT to the state budget. And finally, employee taxes. In Chile, when an employer pays a salary, they immediately calculate and pay the employee's income tax, make contributions to the pension fund, and allocate 7% of the employee's salary to an insurance company for health insurance, which the employee can then use. In total, deductions from an employee's salary amount to about 23%, which is also significantly lower compared to taxes in other countries. Now let's move on to the question of how to open a company in Chile. If you are already a resident, then everything is very simple and free of charge. You go to the Tu Empresa en un Día website, your company, in one day fill out the appropriate forms, and in the end you receive a registration number. With this registration number, you go to any notary, pay a fee of $20, and you are issued a certificate of registration for your company. Next, either remotely or by visiting the tax office in person, you need to initiate business activity, and after that you can go to the bank to open a business account. The most popular business accounts are with Santander Bank or Banco de Chile. If a non-resident is opening the company, then a special procedure is required to establish the company by power of attorney. A legal representative of the company is also required, who must be a resident in order to interact with various authorities within Chile. And of course, certain connections in banks are necessary to open a full-fledged business account for a non-resident company. This procedure will cost, on average, about $4,000. If this service is needed, we as a company can recommend a reliable contractor to carry out this procedure. And of course, we recommend finding a good accountant to service your company. Accounting services will cost from $200 to $300 per month. So, let's sum up. Chile is a country with minimal taxes for individuals, a favorable tax system for legal entities and the self-employed, and a simple and free company registration procedure. Is it worth it? The choice is yours. But the facts speak for themselves. If you are an entrepreneur or a freelancer, this might be your ticket to a new life. Friends, if you found this information helpful and would like to learn about obtaining Chilean residency remotely from your own country, write the word Chile in the comments, and we will send you a video guide on this procedure. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Give us a like if you want more analysis like this, and see you on the air.